So recently I tried out Mr. Pandaria Remix, and I have to say, I have absolutely no desire to finish it. I gave it a chance, and I was mildly excited for it. Just recently, I just reviewed the expansion itself by revisiting Mr. Pandaria with a private server who has preserved the expansion as it was, and I still have nothing against Mr. Pandaria the expansion, but my issues are all with the gimmicks within gimmicks that this mode has. For this playthrough, I decided to be funny and make a Zandalari survival hunter. I felt it would fit the theme since Zandalari are a huge part of the storyline, and I even gave him a decent transmog to fit. Upon entering the game, you are sent to the Timeless Isle, and you are greeted with not just bronze dragons, you're greeted with the infinite dragons. Okay, hold up. I may have quit Dragonflight because it was such a bad expansion, but why the hell are we making friends with the Infinite? They were even making mention of how they see that this is the true timeline now, and such bullshit reasonings on why they are friends. I'm sorry, this is exactly why I consider anything past the Legion expansion non-canon, especially in Dragonflight, where every single major enemy threat are now our best friends because of reasons. Even if I wanted to make friends with people who are hell-bent on altering the timeline to bring about our destruction, not to mention other forms of enemies who are completely opposed to our morals, I would go play a game like Palia, not Warcraft. Which, regardless, after doing a few basic quests to teach you some of the new gimmicks of this mode, you are sent to the first quest of Pandaria for your faction. The leader does make a mild comment on how they didn't exactly expect you to be there, but they're gonna bring you on anyway, and your journey begins. Finally, we get some good war in my Warcraft, where you literally get to gun down the other faction, no remorse. I said in my previous Mr. Pandaria video that the factional war is the best in this expansion. Next to the Lich King expansion, BFA wasn't really that good in terms of the factional story, but here you can feel the hatred, the bias, the history between the two sides. Even within the sides, the Horde has internal conflict, but so does the Alliance, and the internal conflicts also fuel the external ones, as seen through patch 5.1 and 5.2. Now, on a side note, as a survival hunter, I don't know who the fuck is in charge of class design at Blizzard, but why offer us the melee survival hunter spec when you don't even get a melee ability until level 11? I had to auto-strike everything and hope the pet could kill it for me. But you know what? That ended up not mattering because everything in Pandaria was being one-shot. From the first few quests, even later down the line at level 20, I could one-shot dungeon mobs, even bosses. Sometimes the bosses would last a little bit longer than just normal mobs, but even while doing Skullomance, mobs were lasting barely a few seconds, and outside of dungeons, I was 1 and 2-shotting everything. And that was also before I utilized the gimmicks. So now these gimmicks I keep mentioning to you, you basically get gear that have gem slots, and this turns into the Hour of Twilight private server, where you can slot in different types of gems to give you passive abilities, active class abilities, as well as some stats. The passives, some of them I found okay, like one of them that exploded everything around me upon killing an enemy, but the class abilities and all the other stuff that it just felt it was bloat, chaotic, which also reminded me of the Ascension private server. Blizzard, listen to me now. When we all say we wanted you to be like private servers, we wanted you to take notes from Turtle WoW and Project Epoch, not Ascension or Hour of Twilight. You also get a cloak that builds up power as you level, which constantly increases in overpowered stats, including leveling speed. This cloak eventually will evolve into looking like the legendary cloaks, which by the way are not present in this mode. The power scale also, in some degree, will transfer over to your alts as you level them up. One thing that I noticed while questing that I actually like is when you have to perform a task for a quest that requires an item in your bag, you no longer have to click it in your bag to activate it. You can just click the objective and it will automatically use the quest item. That's a neat little quality of life. I also found out that off the bat you can fly in Pandaria, which made exploring Pandaria useless. Why are you allowing flying at the start? You simply have to pay for it at the end. You don't even have to do some convoluted achievement chain in order to unlock it. Dragon riding from the Dragon riding expansion is also here. I chose not to use it and went with my mounts that I obtained from the expansion itself, such as my Serpent mounts and my no longer obtainable Garrosh mount. You can find little power-ups in the air that you can like fly through, and they're all over the map, which whatever. One of the more annoying gimmicks is this bronze system. Now, the bronze itself is not an issue. I don't mind having currency to buy rewards that you can obtain in any way. What I hate is every single reward from every single quest and kill not only award you random loot crates with a ton of bullshit that you don't need inside of them, but also just bronze, and useless gear that is not even powerful or upgrades at all. I got like, several armor pieces of the same type. None of them were upgrades to what I had, so you have to use this new sand ability to convert this extra gear and disenchant them into bronze. Just give me the bronze at that point. I don't want to have to take several extra steps for it. I would rather find good gear that is actually worth getting, but find it less often than all this just random stuff clogging up my bags. The infinite dragons are also everywhere. You find them amongst the quests that take you out of the Pandaria immersion to remind you that you are on borrowed time. They also have little hovels scattered throughout the zones that award you with the various, items from the mode that you will pay with bronze for. They can also offer dailies for dungeons and raids, as well as transmog. And that's pretty much it for this game mode. It's basically Mr. Pandaria Seasons of Discovery, and I hate it. It's just bloated systems upon systems upon systems that do not need to exist. Pandaria was such a fun expansion that I felt was ruined by this. As a side little game mode to keep you busy until the next expansion, fine, enjoy it. But for those people that say Blizzard is testing out the stuff to add it into newer expansions, I hope to God they do not. These systems and game modes that they are playing with are antithetical to what an RPG MMO is supposed to be. Warcraft needs to return to actual war, and the gameplay needs to return to its RPG roots that have to be built upon. Mr. Pandaria, as it was, would have been the perfect expansion to try out actual RPG mechanics because they were already there to a degree, with sandbox elements, and the potential was already there. The factional war is at its peak for PvP, the farmland and all the hidden nooks and crannies, especially the monasteries for tons of exploration and roleplay, personal, optional sandbox style gameplay such as the farm and beyond. Add in elements seen in Timeless Isle and Isle of Thunder, bring back needing flint and tinder and ammo for hunters, anything else besides what we see here.